This video was brought to you in part by the supporters of the AMTV Patreon. Thank you. Hello, and welcome to the Ident Review Extra, the spin-off show that takes a look at one individual ident each episode and gives it the review it deserves. And this time around, we're embarking on a journey through the ITV Network and all the different regional stations that comprised it. And this time, we're going across the water to have a look at Channel Television. Launching in 1962, Channel Television became the 16th franchise to operate as part of the ITV Network. It served the smallest audience out of the entire operation, primarily focusing on the titularly named Channel Islands, including Jersey and Guernsey. Despite a smaller viewer base, Channel would operate as part of ITV for several decades, even being able to weather crippling industrial strikes both in 1968 and 1979. The look of Channel, like many other regions did, changed over time. So without further ado, let's take a look at how their visual appearance changed with those times.
DC Carver returns to his duties in the Bill in half an hour, but it's not long before he's considering a shift in career, a case of back to basics at 8 o'clock. Now, Meridian Focus.
Well, that's it from the late shift here at Channel Television. We leave you now with Take the Mic, which contains strong language.
From Dizzy Des and his guests, we join up with Jack Frost for a chilling tale of murder, a minority of one at 9:30, taking us through to the news. First, more family misfortunes.
Quite an interesting evolution if you ask me. Upon its debut in the early 60s, we see 6 hexagons appear. The 5 aligned horizontally represent the various Channel Islands, those being Jersey, Guernsey, Alderney, Sark and Herm. The 6th hexagon up top has a cat's head stylised onto it. The music also aligns well with the appearance of each hexagon, and the overall look, like many idents debuting in the monochrome era, is simple yet memorable. And even when Channel transitioned into colour, as late as 1976, the original ident for the franchise remained, albeit now swathed in tones of blue and yellow, common colours for many station identifiers in the early days of colour TV. Channel's first major ident rebrand would come 20 years into its life, when in 1982, the familiar hexagonal design was finally phased out, and in its place was a nice striped logo, simply bearing the franchise's initials, CTV. Throughout the 1980s, we see small variations to this new design, including the background being changed from blue to black, plus some animation to bring the logo into the centre of the screen. For their 25th anniversary in 1987, we see an additional variation, with a bit more animation and a very stylish look. Currently, I do prefer the original 60s and 70s design. I'm not sure what it is, but the hexagonal motif just appeals to me more than a mere striped design. Channel, like all ITV regions, had a generic ident designed to fall in line with ITV's new network-wide design. However, not long after, Channel would develop its first computer-generated ident, still maintaining the CTV moniker, now appearing in 3D and in a sleek metallic silver. This was further updated in 1993, swapping silver for gold and a bunch of colours to further help bring Channel into the 1990s. Still, their original ident still wins out for me so far. 1998 would see quite a departure for Channel in terms of its visual representation. Whilst the CTV logo would still be seen on end captions for programmes, the main ident they would use dropped the near 2-decade-old motif in favour of circles, specifically circles made up of the word channel, spinning around endlessly against a blue and purple background in a variety of fonts. This, for me at least, is a major downgrade. The concept of using these circles is one with merit, but to just have them endlessly spin without any further addition or impulse just makes it come across as really lacklustre to me. Thankfully, this didn't last long at all, as the second generic ITV motif, the hearts, came into effect in 1999. Channel did adopt the new look, but also gave itself a new logo for regional programming. CTV was finally dropped in favour of a blue and yellow globe spinning on its axis while streaks of bright light fly around it. It looks eerily familiar, doesn't it? Quite similar to the globes used by the BBC in the 70s and 80s, particularly the computer-originated world, in fact. Despite obvious similarities, it is nice to see the motif of a globe last into the 21st century, even if it isn't on the BBC. The new globe motif would carry over into the 2000s, carrying through to the celebrity motifs ITV introduced in 2002, and even for some years after that. There was a special 40th anniversary sequence crafted for Channel, one that neatly pays homage to its different visual appearances over the years. And I have to say, to primarily use 3 core visual designs over 40 years is certainly an impressive feat, especially for an independent franchise as tiny as Channel was. A neat tribute too, as even though Channel's visual look perhaps isn't as distinctive or memorable as some of the bigger or more recognisable franchises, it was able to carve its place firmly and solidify a clear identity for the audiences that it served. Whilst today Channel operates under the ITV moniker, as do most ITV regions, the importance and resilience of Channel television cannot be overlooked. Despite its small beginnings operating to a tiny audience, the station was able to thrive and survive through the toughest of obstacles, continue on broadcasting when others couldn't, and utilise their idents to the best of their ability. Resisting the need to change the core look frequently, instead introducing a wide variety of variations on a theme. And depending on who you ask, I'm sure one of the 3 main Channel logos will crop up when discussing the station. So thank you Channel, or CTV, for always being the heart of the islands. And so that brings us to the end of another episode of the Ident Review Extra. If you enjoyed this look back at Channel, then please leave a like, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to the channel for lots more ident related content. I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Well, that does bring us to the end of another day here on AMTV. We do hope you enjoyed the programme, and a special thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and to everyone who's tuned in. Until the next broadcast, we wish you a good night.